Hello anybody and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Legacy. I'm Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, and in the last episode we finished up Castle Hamson and killed Neo Kidder, and in today's episode we're going to head back into the new game plus Forest Abkhazia. So we're going to have a good time there and probably die in some manner or another. So, for our romp into the forest, let's go in as Sir Lancelot III, a Hokage, because we haven't been a Hokage in a while, and the first thing we're going to do is spend all the crap load of money that we made in the last episode. So first things first, we maxed out our Death Defy, which means that we've bought all the really expensive stuff now, which is very, very good. We'll also increase our equip up, just because we're going to want to be able to carry heavier stuffs very, very soon. Specifically for, like, the heavier stuff. Like, for example, the Slayer Sword. We're gonna want that, even though it doesn't seem to weigh any more than the sword we have, but anyway, mostly I'm talking about, you know, some of the equipment on the other side that's like 40. Very heavy equipment toward the end of the game. We do almost have almost all of the pieces of equipment that we can get, too. But as you can see, yeah, the dark equipment is going to be the heaviest. Alright, but in the meantime, it's time for us to head back into the castle. Bye, Sharon. Now, if we get my way, we're going to head directly to the forest from the castle. And with our Hokage, we should have a little bit more luck with just dealing with enemies and killing enemies quicker and getting them out of our way. Because with the other classes, with their lower damage output, they're not going to be able to kill enemies as quickly. Except for maybe the Assassin and the Archmage's magic, because, you know, higher HP enemies to deal with, and that makes things difficult. However, the lack of critical hits will be something to lament. I am just being incredibly reckless. This is not like me at all. Actually, it's a little bit too like me if, you know, you've been paying attention to my channel and how I've been doing this Let's Play. But, okay, let's just get back on track here. Let's figure out how we're gonna do this. Like that. That's how we're gonna do that. And let's start making our way over to the forest. I know I'm not taking the most direct path, because I could have gone to the right down there, but you never know. We might be able to do it through here. Let's open this chest in the meantime. I used to think these rooms were a lot more difficult than they are. I used to think that you actually had to stand on these little spike pads and jump down through them, in which case I would have had no idea how to get through those rooms, because they are just way too challenging, and also I'm not going up and trying to go through that enemy, because it's just going to be too difficult, and in the end, I took the down path anyway, because it was just easier. Mr. Bones, get the heck out of here. Been quite a few enemies in this run so far. In my first time through the castle, I had a lot of like obstacle rooms, whereas this run so far is just a lot of not physical challenges. I mean, I guess they are physical challenges if you want to be specific, but they're more fighting oriented than platforming oriented and all that. Okay, this is an easy enough challenge. Would be embarrassing to die in there. Alright. And are we gonna get that coin? Are we that greedy? Yes, we are, and we're not gonna die. Because we got this under wraps. I am slipping out of my chair. I need to get back in. Alrighty. Got ourselves a treasure chest. Also, the ability Flexible, I don't think I ever properly explained it, because this character has Flexible. That means that they can turn mid-swing of their sword, so on the plus side, you can react very quickly to enemies who are behind you. On the downside, you can't do the moonwalk slash anymore with this character so much, but, you know, if you flail around a bunch, you can hit more enemies with it, so that's cool. In the meantime, we want to get out of this room because we can't get the treasure in it, and it looks like this has brought us down to the dungeon. We don't want to go down in there, but I will kill this guy just for the fun of it. So we're going to teleport back up and try to head east again. From here. Thankfully, now that we have a fairly straight shot, I'm not so worried. Nearly got shot in the face by some missiles. As you can see, the downward thrust is like one of the best abilities to use on the guard boxes because there's not much they can do about it. Now, one thing you can do against these dudes is you can put up a giant sword on one of them as you go to town and slash the others because, well, you can kind of see exactly why that's advantageous. Is if you can damage them both at the same time, that's all the better because you don't really want to deal with one enraged for that long. I don't think we can do this. No, we would need an axe. Or, like, Crow Storm or something, which we simply do not have. We got hit by a bone. But we already settled the bone we had to pick with that dude as a result of his cruelty in striking us. Oh boy, the looks like the feed might be lagging again a little bit. I know that the couple episodes ago that the footage was a little bit laggy or something. I know that the audio got desynced, so it looks like I might have to play around with that a little bit more. That's frustrating. I don't know why it's doing that. And we died. That's a shame. We almost got Bodis too, but Bodis hurts a lot more in New Game Plus. We didn't even make it to the forest. What a shame. Oh well. With Sir Lancelot III, the Divine Hokage, dead, we have no choice but to go on to the next character in our life. Let's go with... not the Lich King. Not the Alzheimer's Archmage. There's still a couple traits we still haven't seen yet, probably because they're just pretty rare. Well, let's go with Sir Kenny VII, the Spelunker, because now I'm curious. Mostly, when I say I'm curious, I'm just wondering, yes, you can counteract glaucoma with a headlamp. That's funny. That's cute. That's silly. Alright, so as you can see, the Slayer Sword is actually slightly weaker than the Dragon Sword, but it gets more critical chances and opportunities than the other weapon. First things first, though, I'm gonna see if I can upgrade my cape. Because, dang, that's a nice cape. These are all nice capes, but I'm gonna be taking the Dark Cape, because these are all very nice abilities. That cape weighs 100 pounds. That is a heavy-ass cape. And I don't think we're going to be able to afford anything over here, so... into the castle we go with our double conditions. You know, I don't think putting a headlamp on a person with glaucoma is an effective solution. Maybe I'm wrong, but just a feeling. Just a feeling that it won't work so well, and we are immediately pelted. And we are immediately... Okay, that was the fastest life so far. Oh my god, the useless Spelunker. The Kenny line has not had a good time. Well, we haven't been a dragon in a while, and this one's a dwarfism, and they have hypergonadism, so they're gonna blast away enemies far with their Dragon Balls? No, with their Fireballs. This has the potential to be good. Sir Kenny, we barely knew ye. I mean, seriously, you got 2 rooms in before you died. At my hands. Not at my hands, but, you know, under the control of my hands. I think that's the first time I've ever just slammed into a portrait because I didn't realize that it was cursed. Usually it's easier to tell, and usually I do identify the cursed portraits more quickly than the non-cursed portraits. What am I doing over here, even? I'm just gonna have a bad time. So let's fly up over here and get along on our way. Being small is really great to our benefit, to our situation. Alright. And for good measure, we'll take care of this one too. Get ourselves some treasure up here. And take care of the enemies that are in here. Just to make sure that, you know, we clean up our mess. Ah! Got caught in the ceiling there. That was tricky. That was weird. Also, as you can see with the Dark Cape, we're getting back quite a bit more HP and MP per kill, so Dark Set is really, really good. It would be funny if we completed it. And what do we get for praying to the spiritual shrine? We get Hyperion's rings, so we're gonna get ourselves an extra life. Very nice. Or a free death defy, that is. From here, we'll go down, because I thought there was a guard box in here. Unless I already killed it? Am I crazy? I might be going crazy. Ugh. A mind is a terrible thing to lose. But when you're in this castle for so long, this castle with the ever-shifting walls, I mean, it's just kind of inevitable that you're gonna go crazy. Now here's a great room to be a dragon in. And of course I get it right on, like, the first try. That's ridiculous. Oh well. So as you can see, you do get a few shots at, like, getting the treasure in these rooms. There's not only one path that's the successful way to go and get in there, but, well, whatever. Also, Kidder's boss door. Even though we've killed Kidder for the last time, his door will always live on in fame and infamy. That is the dungeon. We're not going into the dungeon, the Land of Darkness, because Land of Darkness New Game Plus is gonna hurt. A lot. A lot. Which of these rooms is more likely to lead us into the forest? I think that this room is just the safer option because we don't have to worry so much about the verticality of this room as we would in the other one. We just kind of have a better advantage in here, just better control of the terrain and whatever we're doing in here. And I flew right into that jerk. Alright, that was bad. This isn't a great character to fight against Alexander though, because as it was when we fought Alexander, it's just handier to have a character who can hit more enemies at once. Because, you know, you want to be able to take care of the enemies that, if you remember, Alexander just so happens to summon. Because he does summon a lot of enemies, and they can make things crowded and uncomfortable really quick. And you are not a big concern to me. Although we did spam all of our fireballs out of our bodies, so just need to recharge real quick on that. Also, obviously, as you've been seeing with the way I've been spending money, even just in this episode, it's barely an issue anymore. Why did I come down here? I'm leaving. Because I was supposed to go toward the forest, and I went up instead. Pay attention, Mr. Devious, or just Deeb. Did I say that in the beginning? I'm sure I did. Alright, let's see if we can get around you and... Doomtrits are very easy to handle with the dragon, so long as you aren't reckless. Also, hypergonadism on fireballs, really satisfying. Okay, and we've finally made our way over to the forest. Forest Abkhazia, it's been a while since we've seen you. I mean, we've been in here before, like, even just like last episode or so, but it's been a long time since we've been here for the purposes of actually being here. You know? Is what I'm saying. These guys are taken care of. Kind of a mess in here. One thing that makes the forest difficult is that with I'm pretty sure I actually said this my first time in here, is with like all the sparklies and objects in the background, it kind of makes it harder to track the action of like the projectiles and the bullets and the bullet hells. Just you know, from the standpoint of the person playing the game, the less of those sparklies in the air, the easier the time you will have as a player. And you are dead. And you are also dead. You, however, are dead. And big old chest with a big old sack of money. Big old sacks of money. I do find it weird that we were able to get the Dark Cape so quickly and so easily without much trouble. Like, the Dark equipment is so good, and yet we're still missing like 3 different capes. And it's just kind of funny to think about that. Just in the way that you get equipment in this game, but I'm not complaining. Ah! There's a second one that I had not accounted for. And we need to be careful because dragon lives end much more quickly than non-dragon lives. So be careful, Mr. Devious, or just Deeb, or you will die. You will have a bad time, and you will perish. And you do not want to perish. And I'm sure the people watching don't want to see you perish either. I can't believe I just kind of wasted all my fireballs and like missed all of them. But as you can see, this guy kind of spawns in a great location to just kind of spam fireballs against him. Not that he's too threatening with the dragon, or really, the thing about Earth Mages is they're not really all that dangerous on their own. They're only most dangerous when they're around other enemies, because their whole strategy, I think, is that they try to hit you in such a way that you don't really that you're distracted. And if you aren't paying attention to the floor beneath you, it's just, you'll get hit and you'll be hurt. And if you're not paying attention, those boulders do a lot of damage, and they can be very startling and really disorienting. And I like how I can blast these dudes away from me. Hypergonadism on a dragon is a good thing, usually. Horsey, Dark Stallion, you need to die. I rarely see the horses and the stallions in such a way that they're used to their best potential, because obviously they're most effective in long horizontal rooms, but I see them in so many vertical rooms that a lot of the time they're just kind of stuck in one space without much room to move around, and it's kind of a shame, really. But at the same time, for the player, it's, kind of a relief that they're usually not too difficult to deal with, even toward their more difficult forms and lives. Okay. That all said and done, got a big old long room in here. We're gonna just push this guy back and wait for that. Well, those boulders won't last much longer. Those balls, they'll poof. They poofed. Don't spam your fireballs like I do, by the way. I mean, that's not a great way to do it. And yes, I hit up in the ceiling because I saw a secret path. You want to kind of pace them out so to avoid the enemy's invincibility frames, because they get invincibility frames too. You don't just get invincibility frames, and they don't, so you need to account for that. You really do. There are 2 eyeballs down there, as well as a skeleton for us to deal with. Also, the dragon is like ridiculously fast. When you're flying, you're just, wow. You stop and go on a goddamn dime. It's really silly, actually. We've actually made really good progress clearing out the forest, and the Dark Cape is partly to thank for that now, because we're getting back so much HP per all of our kills, that was dumb. Anyway, we're getting back so much HP per kill that we're able to heal pretty effectively, and that means something for the dragon who has a low HP pool, so vampirism is especially useful on those characters who do have low HP, but they are also, that doesn't make them any less useful on like barbarians who, with the right setup, with the right amount of vampirism, they can live for goddamn ever. We got blobbies. This room has blobs. And worgans. I hate worgans! Okay, this room is not going as good as it could, but we're still in a fair amount of control here. And with blobs, we feel the greater extent of the power of the Dark Cape. Dun dun dun. But I'm also gonna have some chicken. Some statue chicken. This room's a dead end, so we are going to explore it and try not to leap into spikes. Can we blast you into spikes? I wish. These guys can jump into spikes though, and it's pretty hilarious. Spiky enemies or blobby enemies in a spike room are always kind of funny because they do not last long. They kill themselves very, very quickly. And for our trouble, we just get some more money. Not much to speak of, really. Come on. Come on, you baby Alexander. You rage. And over here, Worgen! Worgen! Oh, that Worgen really messed me up. See, even at this point in the game, they still get me off guard, and they still just do a lot of damage to me, and... Ugh. Okay, so this is a no damage rune. This is not a great room to do for no damage. But there's meat! So that one was worth killing. The dragon's also a pretty good character to have for this particular challenge because, as you can see, they can duck in more easily and more quickly than, say, other classes. But we're not going to go any deeper than that because I know when the trouble is gotten too real. This thing sucks, and I hate it. In other news. Because screw them, that's a Worgen. That Worgen can just kind of stay over there. It's hard to keep my eyes on all the action here because there's just so much going on now. Oh boy. Look out for the blobbies. Look out for the bluebies. Doing a better job about dodging them at least. But that's just the nature of this game, is that, and the nature of all games really, that you get used to it. You get used to their patterns. Pretty much every game in the world is about pattern recognition, or has some level of pattern recognition in it, unless it's, I mean, even gambling, I mean, there's odds and probability. And if they don't have odds and probability to begin with, like a roulette wheel, then they add lots of probability and factors of that with just like a board where you can pick a color rather than a number, or sets of numbers rather than colors, and things like that. And that alone just... Every game has some level of pattern recognition into it. In other news, that was an easy room. And this easy room is now done. And over here, we've got a random teleporter, which we are not going to take, and we got ourselves more Worgen, more trouble. How much deeper is this gonna go? Oh, this isn't too bad. See, they're taken care of, and these guys, you don't even have to stand down on the fire to hit them, and... I mean, this is more appropriate to what these enemies are kind of meant to be placed in. Like, this is the kind of challenges I think the game designers were kind of going for with the Dark Stallions, but they're not really difficult for the dragon to handle. Or the dragon hybrid. I mean, because let's face it, the name of the thing wasn't Dragon Thing. The name of the upgrade was Bestiality. You know exactly what had to transpire to get this class. I'm sorry for that mental image. You can just, you know, you can just put that away and tuck that away into your trauma folder. Or elsewhere, it's up to you, I don't care. Now we got a new helmet that we can possibly get. Royal Helm, very nice. Very good. Now for some reason, some tunnels don't work so well. Oh, okay, I was able to go through the left side, but not the right? The hitboxes in this game are not perfect. They do well, but they're distinctly not perfect. Okay, so this is going to be the challenge. The challenge is going to be getting down to that bottom door. Also, more blobby. Oh. Without dying. I mean, I know we have the Ring of Hyperion, but I would rather save that and not lose it against a bloody Worgen. Whoop. Whoop. Okay. Very good. We've found ourselves the boss door. And we're almost done with the forest, so we're going to get to challenge Alexander very shortly. New Game Plus Alexander, no less, who is more difficult if just because his enemies or his minions have been upgraded to the second tier, so it's going to be a lot more challenging than Kidder, I expect. But we'll just have to wait and see. Until we've taken care of all these enemies. We're almost at the end here. This room is not friendly to us with its orientation, though. Go down here, scoop those up. And it's time to fight the boss. It's time to go in against Alexander. Hello, Alexander. The Forgotten. So let's see how this goes. Oh boy, I forgot about that for a moment. That could have been really ugly. Well, thankfully we got lucky, and we got to eat more food from there. However, the dragon does have a very nice advantage in that being able to fly means it's just easier to get around all the bullet patterns than it would be to get around with other characters. But you can see we're already starting to kind of get overwhelmed here. Like, the numbers are growing on us quite a bit. And if we're not careful, we're gonna die. We do have the advantage of just being able, like, full control of the y-axis, or the x-axis. I think it's the y-axis. Y-axis is usually verticality. And the z-axis is usually depth. This is no time to talk math, it's time to fight this dude. And, oh, ho, ho, this is fun at least. Ah, I got hit though. That wasn't fun. But as you can see, you can't just spam your fireballs, and also, while it is pretty useful to have hypergonadism to just knock enemies away before they blast you in the face. And as it is, oh my god, this is not good. Not good! But this is what Hyperion's Ring is for. We're gonna die, though, because this is too many dudes. This is way, way too many dudes in here. Yeah, we're dead. It was a valiant effort, though. I mean, look at all these dead enemies. I think this was my most successful run as a dragon. However, I think that's going to be the end of this episode, because while we have made good progress, we've also seen all of the new game plus Forest, and we got to try the boss, and the video's kind of long now, so let's bring that episode to a close right here. So if you want to see more of Forest Abkhazia, and hopefully the death of Alexander himself, then I just hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!